So, your engine's running rough. Maybe it's stalling at red lights, maybe it surges out of nowhere, or maybe the throttle just feels lazy. You've already been to a shop, they've quoted something close to $800, and your dashboard light refuses to turn off. But what if the fix wasn't buried under your hood? What if it wasn't even expensive? Turns out, a single part costing less than 20 bucks can cause all this chaos. And most drivers, totally unaware. Let's kick things off with the one that gets overlooked the most, that dusty old gas cap. Yeah, the one you haven't thought about since you bought the car. It's not just a lid, it's actually a vital part of your vehicle's pressure system. When it's cracked, dirty, or no longer seals right, you lose pressure in your fuel system. That messes with your air-fuel ratio, and suddenly you've got a rough idle stalling issues and a check engine light that doesn't want to say goodbye. The good news? You don't need to replace it right away. Just grab a clean cloth, spray some WD-40, not directly on the cap, spray the cloth, and wipe down the threads and rubber seal. If your car uses a vented cap, double-check that yours matches. Not all caps are universal. The wrong one can either trap pressure or let too much out, throwing the whole system off balance. If you want a set-it-and-forget-it solution, there's a better option. A high-quality aftermarket cap, preferably from the Vuitton line. It seals better, lasts longer, and resists heat way better than those flimsy plastic ones. And while you're under the hood, think about the fuel filter. It's another part that's barely on most people's radar, but plays a huge role in performance. A dirty fuel filter will make your engine feel like it's permanently stuck in Monday mode, sluggish, tired, low on energy, and worse, it strains your fuel pump. That's a much bigger fix. If the filter hasn't been swapped in 30,000 miles or more, it's time. But don't just yank it out. First, kill the pressure in the fuel system. Pull the fuel pump fuse, start the engine, and let it run until it stalls. That ensures you're not spraying gas all over the place. Then locate the filter. It's either along the fuel line under the car or near the firewall. Swap it out, making sure you follow the arrow for fuel flow. Reattach everything tight, plug the fuse back in, and give the system a few seconds to prime when you turn the key. Start it up, and if your car doesn't instantly feel happier, give it a minute. You've just removed a major block in the fuel delivery line. Now let's talk about breathing. Not yours, your engine's. The PCV valve is a small part with a big responsibility. It handles the toxic gases building up inside your crankcase. It sends them back to get safely burned, keeping your system clean and your oil healthier. But once it clogs up, you're looking at increased pressure, oil leaks, and internal wear. The worst part? Most people don't even know it exists, and many mechanics don't check it until there's a bigger problem. So do yourself a favor. Find it, usually on the valve cover or intake manifold. Pull it out, give it a shake. If it rattles, it's flowing. If it doesn't, it's clogged. Spray carb or brake cleaner into it, let it soak, shake the gunk out, let it dry, and reinstall. It costs less than lunch, takes maybe 10 minutes, and protects way more than you'd expect. Okay, now for something that every engine depends on but nobody likes dealing with, spark plugs. If your engine misfires, the throttle lags, or fuel economy tanks, it's often not the fuel system. It's those little plugs begging for retirement. If yours have more than 30,000 miles on them, change them. Yesterday. Running a distributor? Get new plugs, wires, cap, and rotor. Use copper plugs. They don't last forever, but they fire fast. Got a waste spark setup? Go with platinum or iridium. And if it's coil on plug, OEM iridium is your safest bet. Or upgrade to NGK ruthenium HX. Yes, they cost more, but they last over 100,000 miles and hit hard every time. With the right plugs, you'll feel the difference instantly. Smoother cold starts, crisper throttle, and sometimes even better MPG. We're talking 4 miles per gallon better in some real-world cases. That's not small change. Now, say the spark's great, but your engine still feels off. That's where the mass airflow sensor, or MAF sensor, comes in. It tells your ECU how much fuel to mix with the incoming air. But when it's dirty, it starts guessing. Badly. That's when your engine runs rich, burns too much gas, and the throttle becomes unpredictable. Locate the MAF sensor. It's usually on the intake hose, right after the air filter box and before the throttle body. Gently unplug it and remove it. Whatever you do, don't touch the wires inside. They're thinner than hair and pricey to replace. Clean it by dropping it into a Ziploc bag with rubbing alcohol, or better yet, use a dedicated MAF cleaner. Let it air dry, reinstall, plug it in, and you're back in business. But here's the thing, even a slightly dirty MAF sensor can throw everything off. That tiny bit of grime, it confuses the ECU into sending either too much fuel or not enough. That's how you end up with lurchy acceleration, sluggish response, or a sudden drop in mileage. You might not even get a check engine light at first, which makes it easy to overlook. But under the surface, your engine's just guessing, trying to balance air and fuel while blindfolded. And this is where it gets sneaky. The symptoms can mimic other problems. You could waste hundreds chasing down misfires, replacing sensors, or cleaning injectors, when all along it's that dusty little MAF that's been messing everything up. Sometimes it won't even show up on a scan tool unless it's completely dead. So cleaning it isn't just maintenance. It's protection against a wild goose chase. And yes, over-oiled aftermarket air filters can make it worse. That oil mist gets sucked into the intake and clings to the sensor wires, forming a sticky film that collects dust like a magnet. If you're running one of those high-flow filters, make sure it's properly maintained. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for more cleanings or a replacement. Also, don't forget to inspect the MAF harness plug. A cracked wire or corroded contact can cause intermittent problems that feel like a ghost in the machine. If it looks crusty, clean it with electrical contact cleaner and a soft brush. Make sure it clicks firmly back into place. If the sensor's completely fried, go with OEM or a trusted aftermarket brand, not the cheapest thing off an online marketplace. The MAF is too important to cheap out on. A knockoff might work for a week and then start throwing codes again. After cleaning or replacing it, give the ECU a chance to relearn. Let the engine idle for a few minutes before driving off. That helps it recalibrate based on accurate airflow data. You'll usually feel smoother throttle within a few blocks. Some drivers even report improved idle tone. That soft, balanced hum instead of a shaky or uneven vibe. It's one of those small jobs that feels like nothing until it's done and your car suddenly feels tighter, more responsive, and more alive. It's like lifting a fog. That hesitation you got used to? Gone. And if you've recently done other upgrades, new air filter, throttle body cleaning, or fresh spark plugs, the MAF sensor should be cleaned right alongside them. Think of it like clearing your nose before a run. It just makes the whole system breathe better. Don't wait for it to fail completely. Make cleaning your MAF sensor a regular part of your tune-up routine, at least every 15,000 to 20,000 miles. It's quick, cheap, and one of the smartest things you can do to keep your engine feeling sharp. Now, the throttle body. This one's a carbon magnet. Around 30,000 miles, it starts collecting buildup. And by 75,000, it's choked. You get uneven idling, sluggish throttle, and messy fuel trims. You're either running too rich, wasting gas, or too lean and running hot. Either way, you're stressing your engine. It's one of those parts that does its job quietly until it doesn't. The moment it starts to gunk up, your engine stops responding the way it should. You press the pedal, but there's hesitation. Then a sudden jerk. Or worse, nothing happens at all until the revs spike and catch up. That's not just annoying, it's dangerous. Most drivers chalk it up to bad gas or just the car getting old, but underneath, carbon buildup is physically blocking airflow. It forms a thick black ring around the throttle plate, messing with the opening and closing process. That alone throws off the engine's air-to-fuel calculations and leaves the ECU scrambling to compensate. In newer cars, this mess can even trigger throttle control warnings or limp mode. It's that serious. Electronic throttle systems rely on smooth motion and precise position readings, and carbon throws a wrench in both. Cleaning it doesn't mean tearing your engine apart. It's actually pretty simple with the right tools, but here's what gets most people into trouble. Scrubbing too soon. Let the cleaner soak first. Give it a few minutes to break down the sludge. That way, you're not forcing debris deeper into the system or scratching sensitive surfaces. Use a real throttle body cleaner. Not brake cleaner, not carb cleaner. Those can damage sensors or seals. Spray it generously, then use a soft toothbrush or microfiber to work the sludge loose. You'll see black gunk coming off like melted tire rubber. Don't forget the edges and the pivot area of the plate. Carbon loves to hide in corners, and if your vehicle has an idle air control valve nearby, check that too. It often shares the same carbon problem. After cleaning, let everything air dry completely before reassembly. Moisture inside the throttle body can confuse sensors or create misfires. And when you reattach the intake hose, double-check the clamps. A loose connection can cause vacuum leaks and make things worse than before. If your car runs rough right after the cleanup, don't panic. That's normal. The ECU needs a little time to readjust to the new airflow. Let it idle for a few minutes. Maybe take it for a short drive around the block. Most of the time, the idle smooths out on its own. Throttle body cleaning should be part of your regular engine care routine, ideally every 30,000 miles, especially if you drive in stop-and-go traffic, short distances, or use budget fuel. All of that accelerates carbon buildup, and no, a tank of premium fuel won't magically clean it. That's a common myth. Once the carbon's baked on, it takes real hands-on cleaning to get it out. But once it's done, you'll feel it. Sharper response, quieter idle, better low-end power. It's like your engine finally gets to breathe again. Clean it like this. Turn the car off. Disconnect the battery. If you don't, you risk throttle calibration issues. Remove the intake hose and label everything to avoid mix-ups. Spray real throttle cleaner and let it soak. Don't touch it dry. Use a toothbrush or soft cloth to scrub gently. Black sludge will start loosening up. Wipe it down thoroughly, let it air dry, and reassemble. With all that intake work, don't skip the air filter. When it's clogged, your engine gasps, performance drops, fuel consumption rises, and your engine runs louder. Dirty filters don't trap more dust, they just suffocate the system. Check yours. If it's gray, dusty, or filled with leaves, toss it. Use the right size, install it flat, and make sure it's sealed. Injectors next. These are like the lungs of your engine's power. You want mist, not a sputter. After 30,000 miles, injectors get gummed up. Even top-tier gas won't save you. Start with a high-quality fuel system cleaner. Seafoam, Techron, B16, and run it through a low tank. For more serious clogs, let a shop use a pressurized rail kit to clean them out. Don't wait for a misfire. Clean them every 30,000 to 40,000 miles. Now let's talk about internal grime. Carbon buildup on valves and pistons. It's not just dirt. It robs horsepower, messes up combustion, and makes your engine feel like it's dragging dead weight. Sure, additives help with light buildup, but real cleaning? Walnut blasting. It's safe, precise, and crucial for direct injection engines where fuel never touches the valves. A quick word on gas. Premium doesn't equal power. What matters is octane. High-performance engines need high-octane fuel to resist knock. Low-grade fuel in a turbo or tuned engine. That's asking for detonation and damage. Always use what your manual recommends. Stick with top-tier brands that include extra detergents. They keep your fuel system clean long-term. Now onto the stuff that lubricates it all, oil. If you're running conventional oil in a high-mileage engine, stop. Old oil thickens, forms sludge, and leads to dry starts. When most engine wear happens, full synthetic flows better, protects faster, and clings to moving parts. Stick to the right viscosity. 5W30 means 5W30. Don't play mix and match. Change it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles if you drive short trips or in traffic often. If your oil filter mounts upright, pre-fill it before installing. If not, crank the engine with the fuel pump disabled to build pressure. That reduces wear from dry starts. Let's cool things off. Your thermostat controls the engine's operating temperature. If it sticks shut, you'll overheat. If it's stuck open, the engine never reaches the right temperature. Either way, performance suffers. Replace it every 4 to 5 years with an OEM part. Modern cars use electronic thermostats, and they're even more sensitive. Change them regularly. And don't ignore the radiator cap. It's a pressure valve, usually 13 to 16 psi. When it weakens, coolant boils early, pressure drops, and the engine overheats. Swap it out every few years. It's a 5-minute fix and can prevent a $3,000 gasket job. Coolant itself? Not all are equal. Use only what your manual specifies. Mixing types can cause rust, corrosion, and failure months later. Use distilled water when diluting, not tap. Or just buy pre-mixed coolant. Check the reservoir color and clarity. If it's brown, milky, or smells sweet, flush it. And do a full radiator flush every 30,000 to 60,000 miles depending on your vehicle. Don't wait for a sweet smell or overheating to show up. Prevent it early. Now that the engine's clean, breathing right, firing strong, and running cool, there's one more thing: bad driving habits. Most engines don't die from defects, they die from being ignored, abused, and neglected. But that's for another day. If this helped you save a trip to the shop, or just made your engine feel brand new again, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more no-fluff car care content, and drop a comment if you've tried any of these fixes.